Last week on Motivational Moments with LaRon Barnes.
It's very important to have a coach, an accountability partner, someone who can see your future and see the direction you're going in and wants you to get there just as much as you want to get there. And the reason why most people fail, because they don't write out the plan. They don't know what is next. The plan tells you what's next. When you write out the plan, it allows you to transport yourself to the place that you say you are. It allows you to put yourself in the future. It allows you to see the next step. A lot of times what we do is we see the end goal, but we don't know what the next step is. And so we don't know what to do next. And so now we're like, hey, I'm confused. Who do I need? Where am I supposed to go? Where's my help supposed to come from? A lot of us are stepping ahead of ourselves. See, your plan is the navigation system to your destination. Without a plan, listen to this. And I got to say this. If you're driving and you don't know where you're going, where will you find yourself? Who knows? And so you got to have a plan for your life, your marriage, your children, your relationships, anything that you deem important. And then you got to have a plan for your business.
Happy Sunday morning, everybody. This is A.L. Johnson with Elevating Men. We're back with another Motivational Moments. I got my brother, LaRon Barnes, with me. Every Sunday morning, we come to you from 9 a.m. to 9:30 to help you get your mindset right for the week. And so last week, we talked about a 4-step process to success. If you missed that show, you can watch it on our YouTube channel at Elevating Men. You can also go to our Facebook page at Elevating Men. But today, we have a new conversation. We're going to be talking about negative self-image. You know, have you ever looked at yourself in a way that really limited your potential? So we're going to be talking about that, how we can tackle it, how we can overcome it. But before we do that, Brother Barnes, how are you doing this morning?
Listen, I am doing amazing. When I say life is good, life is good, and it keeps getting better.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we try to keep this a jam-packed 30 minutes. And so we're going to hit you real quick with a whole lot of good things. Make sure that you're taking notes because this is going to set your week off on the right path. So negative self-image, man. You sent me over a couple notes. You said that it affects the way that we lead. It affects our decisions, and ultimately it affects our future. Can you unpack that a little bit for us?
Absolutely. So there was this book called The Magic Power of Self-Psychology. It was actually an Audible by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. And he talked about self-image psychology. And he talked about how cognitive behavior therapy, it helps us identify our negative self-talk so that we can, or negative self-talk patterns so that we can reframe it, and how it actually affects our self-perception. And so basically, in a nutshell, cognitive behavior therapy is the perception that we have of ourselves, or of our abilities, of the way that we see ourselves, the way that we see the world, the way how we see the world sees us. It affects our confidence, what we're willing to do, what we're unwilling to do, all because it's our self-perception. And he talked a little bit about that. So he talks about it focuses on the link between our thoughts, feelings, and our emotions. And it's called cognitive behavior therapy. And one of the things that he talked about was how we could shape our lives by the way that we shape or see ourselves. And we have to be aware of what we say to ourselves and how we see ourselves and how we view the world's view of us and how that affects us on an everyday basis. So we go ahead. Oh, sorry about that.
No. So when you say like how we see ourselves, I mean you're talking about something deeper than just looking at yourself in the mirror. And so let's go a little deeper on that. Like
Mm.
how a person sees themselves. Where does that stem from?
Well, honestly, it stems from the moment that we are become aware at a young age, from the ages of 3. Really, it starts at the age of 3 and up, when we become aware of, or I think actually 2, when we become aware of how our parents compliment us, how they give us congratulations, if they are harsh on us, or we get punished for every behavior that we do. So we identify if we're good, if we're not good, our behavior, if it deserves a reward, if it deserves punishment. And so honestly, it stems from a young age as we grow up. And then it comes and affects us when we are in school, from our teachers, people that we look at and we value, whose opinions we value, and our peers. So every time we are in an environment where it involves people, they actually help shape our self-image, our self-image psychology. I remember, Andrew, growing up, when I was told by my second grade teacher, Miss Smith, that I needed to be put on Ritalin, that I was ADHD and I had a learning disability. And I remember when she told me that, how much it affected me, how it affected the way that I seen myself. Because up until then, I didn't think that I was stupid, dumb, couldn't learn. I remember going home that day and I remember crying and saying, God, I don't want to be stupid. I don't want to be dumb. And so it stems from the people that we trust, we believe, we have faith in. And then as this image of ourselves is shaped,
Mm-hmm.
we begin to believe that image and we begin to act in the way of that image. Whether it's negative, it affects our decision making. It affects whether we're going to take action or not. I mean, it affects every area of our life.
I love it. And I appreciate you sharing your story and your testimony. For a second grade teacher to tell a child that they have a disability or that they can't learn, it can be detrimental. And so ultimately you were able to overcome that. And so
Mm.
how were you personally able to change it? How were you able to change that self-view?
Honestly, it took me being around people who, as Les Brown says, sometimes we have to believe in someone else's belief in us until our belief kicks in. And I had people around me. I had Tilden Trotters. I had Andrew Johnsons. I had Terrence Millers. I mean, I had a team of individuals around me who see my greatness. And even when I couldn't see it, even when I didn't believe in my own self, even when the world on the outside, when everybody would see me doing videos and everybody would see how positive my attitude was, I still had identity, not more so identity issues. I knew who I was, but I had self-image issues, negative self-image issues. So by having a team of people around me that seen my greatness and kept saying it enough until I said, you know what, dude, I am operating in greatness.
Yeah.
Hey, I am great. And then I was able to start acting in that.
So you gave us four tools on how we can change it. The first one was cognitive reframing. Can you explain that for the audience and just give us a little context?
Absolutely. So cognitive reframing is when we, in the moment, recognize we're saying something negative to ourselves. And let me be very clear. When we talk about negative thinking or speaking negatively to ourselves, it's not necessarily saying something extremely bad, like I'm stupid, I can't do nothing right. No, a negative thought or a limiting belief, I like to say, is a belief that limits us from taking action, from going after the things that we say we want. And so negative self-talk can come in so many different forms. Negative self-talk is saying I can't, versus positive self-talk is saying how can I? There's a switch in that. So cognitive reframing allows you to catch what you say in the moment. And the way that we catch it is we have to be in tune with our emotions, emotional vibration. That's where meditation comes in, knowing what we feel on the inside, how our bodies are reacting to our thoughts, because our thoughts affect our feelings, our emotions, our emotional vibrations. And our emotional vibrations and our feelings affect what we do. So if we think I can't, we're going to feel anxiety and anxious, and then we're not going to take action. But if we say, how can I do this? Our thoughts begin to think. It allows us to think beyond what we are thinking now and find what we need. And then we can begin to act on what we found by way of our thinking.
I love that. I love that. If I were to just kind of reword that a little bit, a lot of times our thoughts come in one way. And so it's about being aware enough to say, wait a minute, that thought isn't going to serve me well. And so let me reframe it. And the words that we use have power. And so, like you said, when you flip it to I
Mm.
can't to how can I, now you've asked yourself a question, and our minds are designed to find answers. And so it's like,
Exactly.
so now you set your mind on that path to find a solution.
Exactly. And let me say this real quick. One of the most powerful things, I don't want to miss this, is we have to catch it, Andrew. The problem that
Mhm.
most of us have is we can't catch it. We don't catch it in the moment. So
Yeah.
most people don't know they're saying something negative in the moment. So we have to feel how we feel. I'm uncomfortable. I have anxiety when I think about this. I don't want to get on camera. Okay, how do I feel? Why do I feel that way? Start
Right.
asking yourself questions. And then after we understand why we feel that way, now we can reframe it to something that helps us. How can I?
I love that. I love that. Self awareness, man, is so important on so many levels. I believe it was last week where we were talking about the 4 steps of success, and it was like understanding where you are now is the beginning to your future. If you don't like really understand the place that you're in, and so when you talk about negative self talk, how aware of you of your thoughts? Are they just coming in, and are you just operating on autopilot? Or are you actually processing each individual thought so that you have an opportunity to reframe it and put yourself in a better position? So that's gold. That's gold. I hope
Absolutely.
people picked up on that. Um, so the second tip, you said visualization, prayer, treatment. I've never heard of that one. Tell me what that's about.
Well, Reverend Ike was a preacher in the late 90s, and he did what was called the visualization prayer treatment. And the visualization prayer treatment is when you see yourself being, doing, and having the good that you desire. It's when you see yourself living the life that you desire. It's when you feel at your greatest moment. It's seeing your family at the most happy moment in life. It's seeing yourself travel across the world. It's seeing yourself in that new vehicle. It's seeing yourself in that new house. It's seeing what you desire your life to be and your experience to be like in that moment. And as you begin to see that, as you begin to live in that, as you begin to see yourself and feel the steering wheel of that car, as you begin to walk through the house and smell the nice scent in the room, it begins to magnetize or draw that to you. And I remember I had a friend who actually went through this process. And one week I taught him about this, how I learned this, and he had nothing in his home at all, Andrew. I'm talking about empty. The very next week when I saw him, he didn't tell me. I think it happened maybe 2 or 3 days later, but he didn't tell me. He wanted me to see it. I came over his house and his house was filled. He had no furniture, no TV, no kitchen table, and he used the visualization prayer treatment. And all of a sudden, the very next week, he had everything that he had. And he did the visualization prayer treatment in front of me, with me, and he received it. And so we have to see ourselves being, doing, and having the good that we desire. See ourselves being our future selves and not the selves we are now.
Bro, your vision is a part of your roadmap, and I think a lot of people miss that. That's just like if you were to take a puzzle and you unbox it and you scatter the pieces all over the place. Those pieces are a part of your story. They're a part of what it takes for you to get where you need to be. But you don't look at the box for the completed picture and you put a blindfold on. how successful are you going to be in putting that puzzle together? Not very at all.
At
But
all.
when you have that picture right in front of you, you can see where the pieces go. You can understand what's next. And so, yeah, visualization is important. How have you used visualization in your life?
Well, at times, whenever I wake up in the morning, a part of my visualization prayer treatment is in a prayer closet. It's just in a secluded place where I am able to see myself having being, doing, and having the good I desire. I do it when I'm laying down in my bed. I do it in personal meditation time when I realize that I have a lot of anxiety and I need to settle down. I see myself going through the process of working when I find it hard for myself to start a project. When I do it whenever I'm about to have a speaking engagement, I see myself being so impactful to the audience. I see how the audience is reacting to me. I see them being wild, excited. So whenever I'm coming up against something that I want to be very great at doing and see myself doing good at, I take myself through the visualization prayer treatment. And whenever I get up there and perform that act, the act comes out a lot of times better than I've seen it, or just the same.
Love it. Mr. Melvin Brown, good morning, sir. We appreciate your support. For those of you that are just tuning in, I'm talking with LaRon Barnes. We're talking about negative self-image. Here at Elevating Men, we believe that mental health is extremely important. And so he's giving us 4 ways that we can change our negative self-image. Before we get to the last 2, there's something that I want to share with all of you. And so September 28th, we have a very big event coming up. You're going to see a ton of promotion in the coming weeks. It's our mental health town hall. One of the things that we want to do is change the landscape of mental health in Kansas City, and it takes change at the state level, at the government level. And so we're going to bring in politicians. We have mental health advocates as well as therapists that are going to be a part of a huge panel. It's going to be a town hall style meeting. And so for everyone in attendance, you'll be able to ask questions and give input on how we can actually address the mental health crisis in Kansas City. Be looking out for the link. We're going to be going live with that on Tuesday. It's 100% free of charge, just like everything else with Elevating Men. So you'll be able to register and make sure you're in attendance. Before we get back to those last 2 steps, we've got a word from one of our sponsors.
Hello, my name is Damon Daniel, President and CEO of the Ad Hoc Against Crime. For those who are unfamiliar with Ad Hoc, we're a nonprofit organization that works with individuals, families, and communities impacted by crime and violence. And I'm super excited about the Elevating Men Town Hall meeting on mental health. This is so important for our communities. Mainly the reason why it's important to me is because the majority of people who are impacted by violence in our community looks like me. And then I want to make sure that folks really kind of get over those stigmas associated with mental health. And so the resources and the voices that are available at this conference are going to be super important for people to grow their understanding and even access to mental health services. So big shout out to Elevating Men and their effort to leverage mental health services to the community. Thank you.
Hi, my name is A.L. Johnson with Elevating Men. There's a mental health crisis in Kansas City, and on Saturday, September 28th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Mohart Multipurpose Center, we're going to have a mental health town hall. The goal is for us to bring together mental health advocates, professionals, lawmakers, and the general public to address these issues. We need to see you there. All right, so let's get back to it. So today we're talking about negative self-image. Again, that's something that affects our mental health long-term. Before the break, Mr. Barnes was sharing with us 4 ways that we can change it. He talked about cognitive reframing. He talked about visualization prayer treatment. So we've got 2 more and we got 10 minutes left. So we're going to get into it really quick. Self-compassion. How does that affect self-image?
Well, self-compassion is so powerful. And the truth is, most of us and many of us overlook how powerful self-compassion is. Most of us may look at it as it's soft. Most of us don't even look at it at all because we scrutinize ourselves so much and we are so self-critical that we don't really have compassion on ourselves. And what self-compassion does is it actually heals us. It soothes our spirit. It lets us be okay with making mistakes. Many times, most of us don't like making mistakes, so we don't take action. We don't go after what we want, or we play it safe. But self-compassion says, you know what? I jacked up. I messed up. I didn't say the right thing. It's okay. I got up. I spoke. I didn't nail it. It's okay. I know that everybody has downfalls. It's okay. Self-compassion allows you to pick yourself back up. It allows you to say, you know what? That I'm going to learn from this lesson. Self-compassion. One of the greatest issues that I had, Andrew, is that I didn't have compassion on myself, bro. Like it sucked because as positive as I am to everybody else, man, I did not have compassion for myself. And I would tell myself, like, bro, I'm stupid. I can't get this right. I'm not smart enough. Everybody else sees how great I am, but I don't. I didn't have compassion.
Let me ask you that, man. Let me ask you that. Because most people, they say, we all say, I do too, we're our own worst critics, right? And so why is it so easy for us to give others encouragement when they fail or have a perceived failure? But when it comes to ourselves, we are so hard. Why are we our own worst critic?
You know, it's interesting that you asked that, Andrew, because I believe, interestingly, we all have a high expectation or an expectation of ourselves. And that expectation, no one else can see but us. And we don't know what the other individual's expectation of themselves are. But a lot of times we can see greatness in other people before we can see it in ourselves, or our expectation of ourselves is so high, we're not meeting that expectation. So instead of having compassion on ourselves and realizing that, listen, it's a working progress, and you and we are a work in progress. Until we see that and recognize that, we beat ourselves down and hold ourselves down and suppress ourselves because of our expectation.
I agree. Because like you said, we know all of our innate abilities. Like you know what's going on in your head, you know what's going on in your heart, you know what you're capable of at a level that no one else does. And so when you don't meet that level of expectation, when you don't reach anywhere near your potential, you can do better. Look, you come down hard on yourself. But when it's external, you don't know what they're capable of. And so you just that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I remember I was at the 10X workshop and Grant Cardone came in and he said something very, very powerful. And I never thought about this until he said it, but it makes sense. He said, no one knows your capability but you. He said, not even your wife knows what you're capable of. And I thought, like, wow, you're right. Because even at times when I tell my wife things, she is so supportive and she believes in me to the fullest. No, she really believes in me. But when I say certain things, sometimes you can feel, whoa, that's out there. I believe in you, but that's out there. But that's only because I know what I'm capable of. And I know where I am right now. That's why it's so powerful. And so it's so powerful to know where you are right now and to know where you want to go so that you can know when you're closing the gap. And so, yeah, it's a powerful thing, man. We don't know our capabilities sometimes. And the times that we do, when we don't hit where we know what we're capable of, we beat ourselves down. And honestly, that actually slows the process down when we're unable to get back up. That's why self-compassion is so important. Okay, I jacked up. I didn't make it what I wanted to hit. I didn't hit my goals. Okay, it's okay. Let's keep going and let's make this thing happen.
Well, I mean, when it comes to the vision for your life, God only gave that to you. He didn't put it on a big projector screen in the sky so that everybody else could see it too. And so you know where you're headed. You know what you're capable of, but nobody else does. They only know what you showed them and what they see. Yeah.
And I just want to mention self-awareness. I think that's very important to put this out there really quick. Self-awareness. I want to add that because self-awareness allows you, again, to know where you are in the process, where you are in the journey. Knowing where you are says, I know where my skills are. I know where my gifts are. I know where my abilities are. I know what I don't have. I know where I need to invest my time, effort, and energy. Self-awareness is so powerful to the journey of self-fulfillment, because we can't fulfill anything that we're unaware of now, because unawareness puts us in a place where we don't have a roadmap. We're unaware of where we are or where we're going. We're unaware of who we are. And honestly, that puts us in a place I call lost. So being able to identify where you are on the journey, again, is the roadmap to get you to ultimately where you're going. You got to know where you are.
I love it. I love it. Listen, I love these conversations on Sunday morning. If you could just give the people just one wish for this week, something that you want them to take from this message into their next week, what would that be?
One of the things that I want you to take just this week from this conversation is be aware of the moment. Be aware of the moment. Slow down. Slow down. Be in tune with you, how you feel. Your inner emotion is important. How you feel in a moment. Don't work and work and work so much that you forget where you are in your day. Your thoughts, feelings, and emotions are the most important thing, because that right there is your mental health. Cognitive behavioral therapy is being able to catch those negative thoughts that we feel about ourselves, which produce those negative behaviors. Be aware of the moment. Be self-compassionate. Slow down and keep moving.
That's a word. That's a word, man. Thank you. Definitely appreciate all of the game that you gave us this Sunday morning. I believe that anybody that really received this and had an open mind and open heart is going to go into next week better than ever. And so, listen, you help people overcome their limiting beliefs and their self-doubts and their negative self-image. Can you talk to us about how you do that, who you help, and how they can get in contact with you?
Absolutely. So I work with entrepreneurs and business professionals who struggle with doubt, fear, and limiting beliefs that keep them stuck and from taking action to achieve their goals and dreams. Like, I was just like you in many ways, where I could not get myself to take action. I was stuck. I was frustrated. I was irritated, and it was debilitating. And I'm telling you, y'all, I know how that feels. And so what I do is I help you by helping you to know where you are. Some of the things that we talked about now is you need help identifying, what am I saying to myself? What am I really feeling? We're unaware of what we feel. So bringing awareness to it, painting that roadmap, seeing where you are actually going and what you are trying to do, helping coach you in structuring your path so that you can get over your negative self-talk and limiting beliefs as they come up, because they will come up. I help by being your accountability partner, giving you structure with where you are so we can help get you to where you're going. An accountability partner, accountability coach, and that is the way I'm going to help you get there, by us getting that vision clear and getting you moving.
Listen, if you want to book LaRon D. Barnes, if you want a coaching session, if you want him to speak at your organization, his information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Visit LaRonDBarnes.com. There's a ton of information there. Book a session and see where it takes you. That's my encouragement for this week. Go ahead.
One last thing, also free. Look, I want you, as you book on there, you can book on there, but also you can reach out to me at LaRon the Motivator or LaRon Barnes on Facebook, and LaRon the Motivator 2.0 on Instagram. Now, look, I just want you to say, message me, and it's a free 20-minute session. Let's see where you are and where you want to go, and see if we can't get you started right then and there, so we can really get your life moving in the right direction.
Love it. Hey, listen, next week, same time, same place, 9 a.m. Sunday morning, 30 minutes. to impact your life for the week. You don't want to miss it. This has been Motivational Moments. We'll see you next time.